Hey everybody, this is Verna Mullen from Stampin' Notes. I'm just logging on to my laptop so I can see how the view is, if it looks okay or not. It is Tuesday. It is July 22nd, 2025, and I'm coming to you from my studio in Western New York. And I'm really excited to share some cards with you tonight with a new, some of the new online exclusive sets. A little bit of everything. And they're fun, and these cards are fairly easy to make. And you can get them free with an order this week of $50 or more in my online store. Let me mute myself. I thought I did, sorry. And also, I wanted to let you know, hey Carol, nice to have you on here and see you. Starting tomorrow, July 23rd, tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, for 3 days only, there is free shipping. So that is a cool benefit. Free shipping from Stampin' Up! Is always a wonderful thing. And you have to have an order of $75 or more. So if you shop with me and your order is $75 or more, you'll not only get the kits for one of each of the cards I'm going to show you tonight, but you will get free shipping if it's Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Sorry, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. If it's Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, there's free shipping. If you're on, say hi and tell me where you're from. I always love to know where you're from. We gave away, I gave away a free used stamp set, barely used. It was the Field stamp set. I don't have it right here to show you, but if you comment and mainly if you share my live tonight, you'll be put into a drawing for a free stamp set, and it will be gently used or new, and usually retired. So that's that. Okay, let me show you the first card we're going to do tonight. Okay, this is a new online exclusive, the Artistic Leaves stamp set. It has some really nice sentiments, and it's a two-step stamp set. So you stamp first with this, and then with this stamp over that. And we're going to start with a piece of basic beige cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11. And it is scored at 5 1/2. I'm going to burnish that with my bone folder. Okay, and then we have some layers we're going to add to that. I have a piece of the Crumb Cake two-tone cardstock. You can see it's darker on this side. Flip it over, and it's lighter on this side. And what's neat about this cardstock is that it's lighter, and also it is white on the inside. So you can sand this, and this is a card we're doing right here. And you can see I've sanded the white just to give a little bit of rough, like country textured look. And let me get my sanding block. And you can use like a nail sanding block, this one, and you just roughly, gently sand over any of the two-tone cardstock. You will get this weathered look with it. So we want that on this card. Isn't that pretty? And you can get these at like the dollar store or anywhere. But you do get like a residue, a sandy residue over that. All right, so we're going to layer this to a piece of old olive that's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm going to use liquid glue. Yesterday was my anniversary. My husband and I have been married 46 years. And we had fun. We went to a little amusement park and played putt-putt golf. And then we went out to eat. Did some shopping. But 46 years, and you think, where did the time go? Oh my goodness. So we're just layering this on here like that. And before we add it to the card base, we're going to add some ribbon. And I'm using the Timid Tiger ribbon. And I have a piece here. Oh, this is probably 14, almost 14 and a half inches long. Now, you really don't need it this long, but I really wanted to make sure I had enough. And I'm going to make it look like it has tails. And I want my tails over on this end here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply, you can get anything round and tie a knot. So we're tying our ribbon around that. And then I'm going to go again and tie a knot here. Thanks, Carol. Hey, Margaret. Thanks for sharing. And then we're going to pull this off here like this. And this little loop right here is going to be your tails. So we're going to snip that. And now what we're going to do, I'm going to pull those tight. And I want that to be on this end of my layers. And I'm going to grab some tape, just regular store-bought tape. I'm going to tape those ends to the other side. We'll come back and trim our ribbon up a little bit. I'm going to try flipping this way. There we go. I'm just going to tape that down. I'm going to do the same thing on this end here. Wow, 53 years. That's wonderful. Hey, Mom. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you all on there. All right, so I'm going to cut some of this excess off. And I'm going to trim this where it's frayed at the end here. And I want to trim this one so it's on a slant. There we go. Okay, so we've got our layers there. And if you guys weren't on earlier, I'm showing products with new online exclusives. And this is with the Artistic Leaf stamp set. It's not in a catalog. It's only, you only find it online. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my die cut shape. And this is from the Impressions of Bloom dies. It's an oval. This is basic beige, and we'll do some stamping here. And this is a more detailed stamp, and that is, we're gonna stamp with this one first. And I'm using the lighter color on the first stamp, and this is Peach Pie. Hi, thank you, Margaret. And I'm also gonna grab my Stampin' Piercing mat, because with photopolymer stamps you want a cushion to stamp on. And we need a piece of scrap paper here. Put that under there. Okay, I'm going to tap that on there again. We're going to stamp our pretty leaf right there. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to do it this way too, but not as much of an image on there. Now you could just leave it like that. It's pretty like that. Definitely could leave it that way, but I want to show you the two-tone or the two-step stamping. So the top image is going to be with a darker image, and I'm going to use Timid Tiger. Thank you, Kathy. We're celebrating our 60th. Wow, that's great. All right, so this is a stamp, and you'll see there's two distinct leaf tips here. And then the rest of it's kind of not really distinct. So I'm going to line these two tips up. Well, I guess it's these two with these two here, okay? And you'll find that with this stamp, it doesn't line up perfectly. It gives it a nice color, but you'll see on the package here, it shows that it doesn't, that darker color does not line up perfectly with the leaf. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other end. So I'm going to turn it this way. And we're going to stamp this. So there we go. There's our two leaves. And now I'm going to stamp, or two large leaves. And now I'm going to stamp the smaller leaf. I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. I tried Old Olive and Mossy Meadow, but they're pretty dark. I don't want it quite that dark. So Granny Apple Green. And I'm just going to come in right up here, like that. And then another little tip right there. All right, now there's a stamp that will stamp this color in this blank space there. And it looks like this. It's kind of an L shape. And I'm going to use Timid Tiger, one of the new in colors this year. And you can tell this one's a little easier to line up. So that goes there. And then this goes right along like that. Yes, we're still remembering your husband's recovery, Margaret. Bless his heart and bless your heart. That's a lot to go through. Okay, now this stamp set has a really nice sentiment too. Let's set these aside. And we're going to do this one here that says grateful for you. But there's one that says hello, sweet friend, and celebrate today. So I'm going to use Early Espresso for that. And Early Espresso. I got that. All right, here's our grateful for you. I'm going to stamp it right here. We had a huge bear come in through my son and daughter-in-law's garden this morning, and that was something. I hope he stays down there and not up here. But we have my youngest son did see a large one cross below our house a week or two ago. So they're around. All right, and then the other thing I'm going to add is there's these little artistic dots, and I'm just going to add them with a touch of crumb cake. And I'm not seeing crumb cake, so I'm going to use Early Espresso. I'm going to stamp it off so it's not so dark. We'll just stamp off like that and add them right there. And do the same thing here. That got to be kind of a glob. Let me wipe that. We'll just do those right there like that. Okay. I'm going to pop this onto the card front with dimensionals. So we'll add those. Does anyone have this set that's watching? I really liked it. I thought it's great for fall cards. And I do tend to use a lot of dimensionals. We'll get these backings off here like this. All right, so we're going to add it to the center of this, like these layers here, like that, and then over our card base. And I am using the glue that Stampin' Up sells, the green glue they call it. I just have it in this glue press gun. All right, this is a tight fit because it's like 1/8 of an inch around all the edges there. And how about some gems? So I have the, oh, these are something drop. I can never remember the name of them. I'm just going to add some of these clear ones. Let's put one maybe right here. And one here. And another one up there like that. And for the inside, I've got old olive that is 5 1/4 by 4, and basic beige that's 5 by 3 3/4. I'm going to layer that onto that. And we'll open this up and add it to the inside of our card here. Like that, and let's add a little bit of, let's add a couple leaves here. Bring back that granny apple green. I'll add one here, and I'm going to come down very lightly like that, right there. All right, so this card is with the artistic leaves. And here's another thing. I did an envelope to go with this card. I didn't add the second stamping on it. I just did the initial stamping with a peach pie. So that's our artistic leaves card. I'm just going to wipe that. Thank you. Now, you guys, I love this next one. It's with the jar punch, and there's a jar stamp set and a punch that come as a bundle. I'm grabbing, but this stamp set is called Jar of Joy, and it's Christmas themed. So it's really cute. And this is the card we're going to do right here. And I'm going to show you how to line up, how to make a template for your punch, to line it up so it's easy to stamp your jar shape and punch it out. All right, so this is really cute. This is the Christmas themed. It says, may your heart be filled with joy, sending a jar full of cheer, wishing you the sweetest Christmas. And you've got things you can put in your jar. There's a snowman, ornaments. We're doing the cookies today. There's a little bow. And this is a scarf for the snowman. And there's those little dots again, more little dots. So let's start this card. And we have a Poppy Parade card base. And this is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've taken 1 inch off of one end. Move this over here. All right, I have 2 pieces of designer series paper that are 2 1/4 by 5. This is from the Turtley designer series paper. And where did our other one go? Well, oh, here we go. We have a piece that is 5.5 by 1 1/4, and I'm going to layer this right here on this inside. And if you order and you get the kits for this stuff, you will get the tutorial too. So that's going to go right on the end. So that when we close it, we have this little bit of red here, and then we have the designer series paper, which is from the Nests of Winter designer series paper. Okay, and I'm going to cut another piece. Oh, here it is. I knew I had another piece of designer series paper all ready to go. All right, so we've got our 2 pieces here. They're each 5 by 2 1/4, and we're going to layer them so they're a little bit askewed, kind of like this, and then they're going to go on our card front here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to layer this one on. You could have all kinds of fun with this bundle. And we'll put that one like that. Okay. Like that. All right, now we need to punch our little jars. We're going to set that aside for a minute. Here's our punch. All right, so I made a little template. All I did was take a piece of cardstock and I punched out, I used this and punched out the jar top and the jar. At first I did it in white, and then I found that when I went to stamp, I couldn't see good because the paper was white and the template was white. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put a piece of basic white cardstock underneath there, like this. And I'm just going to hold it down with a Post-it note, or you could use a little bit of a mini glue dot. Hi, Debbie. Thank you for sharing. All right, so I'm grabbing a pink Post-it note. Oops, I tore the back off. All right, so we're gonna hold that right on there, so we don't want this moving. And get my stamps here. Oh my goodness. What did I... Oh, here they are. All right, so I'm going to use, this is the jar stamp. And I'm going to use Cloud Cover ink. I knew I forgot something. So if we stamp right inside this template, then we can cut it out, punch it out, punch both pieces out at the same time. Okay, so, and I didn't stamp that good. Let me move that over and try that again. All right. Okay, so there's the jar. And then the little lid. I think this little lid is so cute. There's our little lid in there. We've made our little template to use. So we'll move that off of there and bring the punch back in. Thank you, Kathy. All right, so all we have to do is line that up. The image is all lined up and ready to punch out because we made that template to punch in or to stamp in. All right. So we're going to set this aside, and I'm going to show you how to stamp there's a two-step image to stamp in this jar. All right, so I'll bring them in. Let me show you on the picture here. So this is the image you want to stamp first. It's more solid. This is the accent image. And I'm doing this one in Crumb Cake and this one in Poppy Parade. All right, so this is the first image we're going to stamp. And I'm going to ink this up in Crumb Cake, which is right here. Thank you, Nancy. I'm so glad you enjoy those. All right, so this is Crumb Cake, and it's going to look darker than it will be when it's first stamped. I'm going to stamp that right in that little jar. It's our cookie jar. Set that aside. I'm grabbing the Poppy Parade. And so you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's 2 buttons and a bow. And what I usually do is I line up the bow over the bow in the gingerbread man. And I should be stamping on the mat here. With your photopolymer images, they come out better if you stamp on a mat. All right. So I'm lining up the bow and the buttons, and then everything else usually lines up pretty good if you have them lined up. So there's our little cookies in the cookie jar. And we'll set these aside. All right, I already have another jar stamped. and with the cookies. And now I'm going to just punch a punch a jar out for the sentiment, because we're going to put the sentiment in one of the jars. So this jar is going to be blank right there. And this card was cased from one that in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. And we are going to stamp the sentiment. We've got to switch blocks here. It says, wishing you the sweetest Christmas, and we're going to use Poppy Parade again for this. Okay. And we're going to stamp it right in the middle of our jar here. Wishing you the sweetest Christmas. All right, and I have a scrap piece of silver foil, and for the lid, for the middle jar, I'm going to punch out of silver. All right, we're going to have 3 little jars lined up on our card. So there's our silver lid. Okay, so let's bring our card base back in here. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the lids onto the jars. So there's a lid and there's a lid. I'll put this aside. And I'm just going to take, run a line of glue along the bottom of the lid. And bring my jar over. Now you could leave, like put the lid like it's hanging off the jar or off the jar. Okay, so there's one. And here's another one. Does anybody have this set? There's that one. Now, when you're working with glue and foil, you want to try to be careful not to get it on the foil, because it'll, I don't know, it makes a mess on it. It's hard to clean it off. Oh, I'm sorry you can't use the punches, Kathy. But I understand. Okay, so this is our silver jar here. All right, so we're going to bring our card front back in. And we're going to put our, adhere down with glue the top and bottom jars. This was a mistake on the back here. So we've got our little jar there. We're gonna do one at the bottom, going the opposite way. Then the middle jar, we're gonna pop on with dimensionals. Sometimes it's easier to use your take your pick tool to grab these. All right, and we'll get the backings off. All right, and he's gonna go on there straight, pretty straight, okay? So there's our middle jar, and we're going to add some of the red and white baker's twine. And I always like to do a double bow, but you don't have to. And this is going to be kind of a bigger loopy bow. If you weren't on at the beginning, there's free shipping beginning tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday with an order of $75 or more. So you take advantage of that. All right, and let's grab a glue dot. We'll grab our glue dot right here. We'll put it right on the edge here, and this bow's a little too big. I'll pull that in a little bit. All right, so there is our front. Now let's do the inside. Let's fix this. It's a little long there. All right, so we have a piece of cardstock. Oh, I did have a piece of cardstock here. What did I do with it? I think I used it to punch out a jar. All right, so this needs to be 5.5 by 2.5, I think was what it was. So I'm going to come back and do that later. But this is because I don't want to hold you guys up, and I've got 2 more cards to share. Let's add some rhinestones to this. Thanks, Debbie. All right, so we're going to add one big one down towards the bottom here. And if your order is $50 or more with me this week, I will give you a package of if it's $50, you'll get the kits. If it's $75 or more, you will get a package of rhinestones. I love rhinestones because you can color them. You can use them with anything. They're like the easiest to use. So there's our little cute as a jar of joy. So that is this stamp set right here, and it goes with the jar punch. All right, so let's move on to our next card. So we're doing all online exclusive products tonight. The next one I want to show you is a card with a prairie grass. Does anybody have this? I love this set. I haven't used it yet, actually. I'm kind of winging it tonight. Has really nice sentiments. Sometimes life is just hard. You're not alone. I'm here for you. So very sorry. My shoulder is yours. Sending the healing power of love. We've got cattails and grass and like prairie grass. And I haven't even put the backings on my stamps yet. I know I'm going to use this one. And I will wait and do that another time. I'm just going to take this off tonight, and we'll use it like this. Just for time's sake. All right, so we're going to start with a piece of watercolor paper. We're going to do a little watercoloring with this one. And I've got a piece of our Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and you will get a piece of it in your kit. It is more of a vanilla color than white. Move this aside. Okay, and I'm going to use an aqua painter. These come in a set of 3. And you unscrew them and you put your water into them. I won't do that right now, but they're different sizes too. And I have a little scrap piece here, and I want to color a background for the stamp that I'm going to use. Got a little piece of paper on the edge there. All right, so I'm going to bring in my big black here, and I'm going to put 3 drops of different colored ink. I'm going to use Pool Party. Pool Party. Daffodil Delight. And Pretty in Pink. Okay, so as you squeeze your aqua painter, the color will, or the water will come out. And you want to get some water into your color here. And I'm just squeezing this, and you'll see it gets kind of watery. Like that. I just want to make sure it's not too dark. So I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I'm just kind of doing circles to color this. And I'm adding a little more water too as I'm doing it. We'll bring a little more down here. Okay, and I'm just kind of rinsing that out because I'm going to go to the yellow color. So here's our daffodil. I'm going to squeeze a little more water into that and work some of this darker color off. All right, and then I'm going to start with my swirls here. And if you get some blobs like that, it's kind of pretty when it dries. So you can do whatever you want really with it. And you can see this is darker down here. I'm going to go into this a little bit. And we're going to go up this way with it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the blue. And this is Pool Party. I'm going to start down in here. Then we're going to go up to the top of our card, and you can see I'm not being super careful with my lines or anything, just kind of giving it a nice wash for our background. All right. Okay, so that's how you do the background. Now you can blow dry this with your heat tool to dry it off. I've got a piece that I did earlier that I'm going to use. I'll let this dry and use it for another time. And this is pretty thick and heavy. So here's the piece that I did earlier. So I'm going to bring that in. And I'm going to stamp my prairie grass on this using Memento black ink. So I've got my grass here. This is going to be hanging off. I don't have my bigger block with me, so I'll show you how I'll deal with that. I'll move this down a little bit. So the Memento black ink is right here. And I'm going to ink this up. And actually, this is one that you might want to do with a Stamparatus. And I did bring it over. I think I will use it. And I'm just going to hold that and ink that. Actually, I think I'll be okay if I just stamp it like that. We'll give it a go here. So, I'm going to go down like this, and you'll see this is hanging off the top of my cardstock there, or watercolor paper. Okay, oh, that's so pretty. Isn't that pretty? It gives it a nice background. It's so simple to do. All right. So, I have a piece of basic white cardstock, and I'm gonna burnish this full. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Pretty in Pink that is 5 by 3 3/4, the same as our watercolor piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. We'll put it on like that. And then we'll add some, looks like I was practicing on the back of this. Okay, and this one we will add like this. You could pop it on with dimensionals too. Actually, I think I'll make this a little straighter. All right, and I have a die cut circle. And this is one of the smaller stylish shaped circles. And I'm gonna just stamp a sentiment on there. Let's do So Sorry. I'm gonna make this a sympathy card. I think this is So Sorry. Yeah, this is one of those sets that you don't have to do too much to make it pretty. Yeah, I don't blame you, Kathy. I really love this. They're so easy to use too. All right, so Very Sorry, and I love the font in that. All right, so we've got our die cut sentiment here, and I also have a die cut. I started it as one of the small everyday arches, and I didn't like it underneath it. So I'm going to make this into a banner. I cut it down. I'm going to cut straight across, and we're going to cut a slit here, and then go from each corner to the top of that. Like that. So we'll do a little banner like that. Let's see where we want it. We want the banner to start at the top of this. And you could just stamp So Very Sorry like down here on it. It'd be pretty too. And this probably should go over a little bit. Like right here. And we'll do some twine on this. I know I brought black twine over here. Well, we won't worry about it. But some twine or ribbon would be pretty behind there. I'm going to pop this on with dimensionals. And then we'll add some gems to it. This is Mango Melody, that pink there. Okay. We've got that on there like that. And let's add some rhinestones to this. You don't even need to, it's really pretty like that. Oh, I know. The low profile dots. Let's add a couple of those because these are kind of a pinkish. Or the gold. You know, rhinestones. Rhinestones it is. Let's see. I think we'll add one like that. So, and then for the inside of that, we have a piece here, and let's stamp some more grass. Let's do our cattails. We'll ink it up with Memento Black. Let's see. And then we'll adhere that to the inside. Okay, so there's, that is with the prairie grass stamp set. And then one more, and this one I am really flying by the seat of my pants because I didn't have time to really do it, but I know what I want to do. So I'm going to use a Peaceful View. This has been out for a while, and I just love this. And I'm going to try stamping it on a piece of the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. I had one here I was thinking about using. Actually, that might work. Let's see what else is here. Does anyone else use this stamp set, Peaceful View? Here's another one that might work with that, but we really need a grassy background. Like maybe that. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I'm going to try stamping it on this, okay? And I'm going to use the Stamparatus. I'm going to cut it down first. Grab my trimmer. Okay, let's see here. Let's cut this down to 5 1/4 by 4. I want the grass left on the bottom, so let's do it this way. Five 1/4 by 4. And then I brought over Night of Navy cardstock, and I think I want Lost Lagoons. Let me grab that. Okay. So before we layer that onto our card base, let's grab the stamp. So this is a pretty large stamp, and I would like it like probably from here over. So I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these any longer, but you can get a Misty, which is similar to this. Does the same thing. It holds your paper in place so you can repeatedly stamp an image if it doesn't come out right. Now, I think I'm gonna have trouble. I think what I'll do is add some glue dots on the back of this to hold it. Because the image is so large, there's not really a place to put the magnet. I'm just going to add a couple of these on the back of this. Because if I have to restamp it, you don't want it pulling it up away from the position it was in. All right. So let's line this up here. It's at the 2.5 mark here over to the 5.5 mark. And then, see, we want the fence to show. Let's see what we get. Need to take the backing off it first. The other thing I could do is put it flat on this where I want it. Maybe I'll do that. Let's try that. Let's put this down and ink it up. And I'm going to lay my designer series paper on it so I can see where I'm putting it. And then I'll just press it. I'm just taking the glue dots off the designer series paper. All right. So I'm going to ink it up good. Oh, this is so pretty. This is another one that doesn't take that long to make the card, but it's beautiful. Oh, look at, there's a little bird on the fence. Okay. Now I'm going to lay this down. I want that bird on the fence. So I'm going to start, I'm just going to press this like that. I'm going to take a paper towel. Let me grab that. And put over it, and then I'm going to press it with the top of the Stamparatus. We'll see if this works, okay? I've had this thing, it says don't stress, just press. It's like an eraser. So we're just going to press that on there like that. Margaret, it was in regard to, I made a card with a prairie grass stamp set. I'll show it to you. This one is the Peaceful View. So I've never used it, and I'm not sure this is going to turn out very good, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so there's our ink. Looks like it moved a little bit. Oh, I like it. What do you think, guys? I like how it turned out. You've got the grassy background and the sky behind there. Cool, okay. And I'll clean this up in a minute. All right. So, I got the Lost Lagoon, but I don't think I'm gonna like that with it. I'm gonna grab maybe a bit of basic white to go around it, and then Old Olive or Mossy Meadow for the base. What's everybody think? So I'll cut the piece to go around it out of this. It's so easy to make. That's the cool thing about it. All right, so 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 to go around this. And then let's layer it onto maybe even a blue here. Yeah, I love the bird too. Oh yeah, it would be a cool Halloween card. Like a nighttime card. All right, let me grab the a card base. Oh. Okay, I'm going for Calypso Coral. Let's see, this is too bright. It's okay. I don't like it though. Okay, let's go with Old Olive. I'm just gonna fold it in half here. This is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. We'll burnish it down. We'll add our layer here. I'm not sure I'm crazy about the white, but we'll go with it. Oh, you did, Natalie? Oh, there's nothing like a beautiful sunset. Maybe like basic beige or crumb cake around it would be better. Now you could pop it up with dimensionals. It would be pretty that way. I think the space is wider than it's supposed to be. Yep. See if I can cut through 2 layers here. Yeah, I like that stamp. You could do a whole bunch of these, like for a swap or something, pretty fast. All right, so we'll put that on there like that. And then all you'd have to do is add the inside. So here's a look at the 4 cards for tonight in the 4 different sets. Here's Peaceful View. And you could add a sentiment here on this. Peaceful View, Prairie Grass with a little watercoloring. Jar of Joy, which is Christmassy. And our Artistic Leaves. So I don't know if I'm getting these all in the picture. Let me remove the stamp sets and get them back down here. All right, Artistic Leaves, and there's an envelope with that. Jar of Joy, a little bit of Christmas, Prairie Grass, and Peaceful View. So I hope you guys have enjoyed these, and I'll be showing more this week. I'll catch you later. Thanks for being with me here tonight. Take care now. Bye.